Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about an event that quite literally shook a nation. But more than that, it's a powerful story about resilience. We're talking about a recent earthquake in Mexico. So let's just start with this one number, 6.5. What do you think that could be? It's the measure of a truly awesome force of nature, a force that was felt by millions of people. You guessed it. That number, 6.5, was the magnitude of a really strong earthquake that just struck Mexico. So for this first part, let's just cover the basics. What exactly happened here?
So here's the main headline. A 6.5 magnitude quake rattled a huge area of southern and central Mexico. Now this was a pretty significant event, and it definitely got everyone's attention, and fast.
So where did this thing start? Well, as you can see, the epicenter was down in the southern state of Guerrero. It was near a town called San Marcos and very, very close to the famous resort city of Acapulco. And it started pretty deep underground, about 22 miles below the surface. But you know, geology and numbers only tell half the story. Let's shift gears and talk about the human side of this. What did it actually feel like for the people who were there? Well, you can just imagine. The moment the ground starts to shake like that, your instinct just takes over. In really busy places like Mexico City and Acapulco, people immediately started pouring out of buildings, heading for the open streets where it's safer. And this quote right here, it really puts you in that moment. It's from a doctor who was right there in Acapulco. He said he heard this loud rumble, and then, in his words, the shaking began to feel strong with a lot of noise. It's one thing to see the number 6.5, but it's another thing entirely to hear it described like that. Now, as frightening as this was, it didn't come as a total surprise. And that brings us to a really important part of this whole story. It's about how a terrible tragedy from the past led to a system that, well, it may have saved a lot of lives this time around. And this is it, the Mexican Seismic Alert System. To put it simply, it's this incredible network that can detect the very first waves of an earthquake. It then sends out a public alert before the slower, more destructive shaking arrives. And those few seconds of warning, they can make all the difference in the world. And the reason this system even exists is rooted in a painful history. See, back in 1985, a catastrophic earthquake hit Mexico. It caused just unbelievable devastation and, sadly, the loss of at least 5,000 lives. But out of that tragedy came this determination to be better prepared. And this alert system was built as a direct result. And today, we saw it work exactly as it was designed to. So, the alert sounded, the shaking was over. What was the final outcome? Let's turn to the official reports to see how everything shook out, no pun intended. And get this, in a moment of just incredible timing, the national seismic alarm actually went off while the country's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, was holding a live press briefing. The alert just started blaring right there for the entire country to see and hear in real time. After that very public interruption, President Sheinbaum got on the phone with the governor of Guerrero, the state where the quake was centered, and the news she came back with was the news everyone was hoping for. No serious damage reported. And that initial report, thankfully, held up. Now, there were some smaller issues, of course. A few landslides on highways, some phone lines went down for a bit. But the big picture was overwhelmingly positive. No major damage to buildings or roads, and the most important thing of all, no major injuries were reported. So the takeaway here is really crystal clear. This was a powerful earthquake, the kind that absolutely could have been a true disaster. But because of those hard lessons learned from the past, and because of the warning systems they put in place, the outcome was so much better. And all this really leaves us with a final thought, something to ponder. This event in Mexico is such a powerful reminder of how important it is to be ready. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a disaster were to strike, how prepared is your own community?